Hello, hello. Am I audible now? Hello. I guess I'm audible now, right? I'm audible now. Finally, thank God. I'm not really a tech person, but somehow I did this. Big achievement. Okay, okay. Sorry, really sorry for inconvenience. And you all are being very patient. Like for last 5 minutes, you all are being so patient and still here. Great. That's how you will become a good company secretary, because company secretary course need patience. You are the compliance officer, it needs patience. Great, finally. Actually there was some issue with the mic. I guess now I am audible. लो आ रही है? लो तो नहीं आ रहा. I guess ठीक आ रही है. ठीक आ रही है. Please speak loudly. Okay, don't worry, once I'll go in the flow now I'll be very loud. It's okay, it's okay. Great. Echo हो रहा है. Okay, Vaishnav is saying is clear. Okay, great. So finally we can start our today's revision lecture. In case anybody has not joined, please inform your all the friends and share the link in all the groups, because this revision is going to be very useful for you. Even if your regular class is not done very properly, even if your regular concepts are not very proper, don't worry. This revision class will help you understand the concept as well and memorize the concept as well, and it will be like it will make you full ready for your coming June 2022 exam. Right. Okay, great. A lot of people have joined, and with a great enthusiasm, let's start our today's lecture. In the last class, in the lecture 1 or in the episode 1, we discussed chapter 1 completely, in which we discussed meaning of company features as well as the difference between body corporate and company. What do you mean by illegal association and different types of companies? Private company, public company, OPC, small company, holding subsidiary, government company, foreign company, listed company. All these concepts we discussed and we revised in the episode 1. So today is our episode 2, and today we will first do our topic chapter 3, which is members and shareholders, and after we will be done with this members and shareholders, we will start our chapter 2. And if you will see module, your chapter 2 is divided into number of parts. Like if you see, this is your module, this is your ICSI study material, and if you will see your ICSI study material, this chapter is divided into 5 parts. The chapter 2, lesson 2, first I am explaining you the topics which we will cover today, and after that we will proceed further. This chapter 2 is the lengthiest chapter of your whole part A. Chapter 2 is one of the lengthiest chapter of whole part A. So that is why this chapter is divided into 5 parts. So we will also study it in parts. Part A is very laddu. Part A talks about meaning and type of share capital. You can ignore this part at all. Part B talks about issue and allotment. Part C, issue of securities. Part D, alteration of share capital, buyback and reduction. And Part D, transferability. So this Part A we'll discuss first, and after that we'll discuss Part B, and after that we'll discuss all this C, D, E together, because in your ICSI study material it is somewhat haywire. Why? Section wise it is very up and down. So here I will take part C, D and E section wise. I will take like section 43, section 44, section 45, section 46, and so on. So this will take section wise. So first we'll be covering lesson 3, that is chapter number 3, and after that we'll start chapter number 2. And it is very obvious that chapter number 2 will not be completed today. Why? Because it takes me approx 10 lectures to complete chapter 2 in regular class, even sometimes more than 10 lectures. So it's not possible to teach all the 10, 11 lectures in one single lecture. So we will start lesson 2 today, and we will try to cover as much as topic as we can, and after that we'll continue the lesson 2 tomorrow, and then we can complete the lesson 2 tomorrow. This will be the flow of our today's class. I hope everybody is clear with what topic we are going to study today. So if you're ready, bolo Jai Shri Ram and give me a fat thumbs up in the chat box so that we can start our members and shareholder. Members and shareholder. नॉलेज बूस्टर इज सेइंग मैम आपकी लेक्चर बहुत यूजफुल है, थैंक यू सो मच, बट आप थोड़ा धीरे धीरे करवाइए. सी अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, आई एम गोइंग एज स्लो एज आई कैन, बट दिस इज अ रिविजन लेक्चर. I can't take 2 hours in a single topic because this is revision lecture. See, you don't have that much time. Your exam is next month, so it's better to complete the revision lecture within 12 to 15 days, right? My normal class goes for 4 months. Lot of my normal batch students are also present here. Ask them. It goes for 4 months. It started in November and it ended in March, April. So normal batch goes for 4 months. It's in very detail. In revision, I am going as slow as I can for your exam purpose, for your revision purpose. Obviously, इससे slow नहीं जा सकते. इससे slow not possible. Okay. But don't worry, whatever our speed will be, your concepts will get clear and concepts will get inside your heart. That is my guarantee. What you have to do from your end, you just have to refer the provisions once after going home. Once after the class, you yourself have to refer the provision once, because self-study is also equally important. So, and I hope that you have referred the provisions, you have referred the topic once, and then you are coming to the today's lecture. Okay. Okay, great. No doubts now. Now I'll take doubts after the class. Now with the full enthusiasm, let's start our today's lecture. Okay. The name of the chapter is chapter number 3, members and shareholders. So obviously the chapter itself suggests what is the first question. The first question which comes to our mind is, what do you mean by members and shareholders? Is there any difference between these two terms? Is there any difference between members and shareholder? Yes ma'am, yes, there is difference. What is the difference mean? Ma'am, what do you mean by member? Members means those person whose name is mentioned in the register of members. What is register of members, ma'am? It is just a book prepared by the company where it maintains the list of all its members. Let's say I have one register of my classroom and I am maintaining list of all the persons of all my students. Okay, Manish is my student, Nisha, Ronak, Pinky, all this are my students. So I'm maintaining a register, and in your school your class teacher used to maintain your register. So similarly, companies maintain a register in which it mentions the name of all the members. That register is known as register of member. And in case your name is mentioned in that register, then you will be considered as member. Ma'am, what do you mean by shareholder? Shareholder means that person who is holding the share of the company. So ma'am, these two are same na. For example, if I purchase a share of Reliance, then I purchased a share of Reliance. Now my name will be entered in the register of member of Reliance. So I will be the shareholder as well and I will be the member as well. Yes, bilkul correct. So usually these terms are used synonymous. Usually the term members and the term shareholders is used synonymously. But you know what? There can be some situations where a person is a member but not a shareholder, and vice versa. There can be some situation where a person is a shareholder but not a member. Ma'am, can it be possible? Yes, it is possible. You know, let me give you an example. Do you know the concept of transfer of share? Okay, let's say I have shares of Reliance. Okay, so what Reliance will do, let's take a blank page. Okay, Let's say I have shares of Reliance. Okay, so Reliance is maintaining a register of member. In short, we call it ROM, register of member. So Reliance is maintaining a register of member. In that register of member, Reliance will enter my name. Okay, let's say Ishika Agrawal is the shareholder. Just because Ishika purchased the shares, she became member and now her name is entered in the register of member. So usually the one who purchased the shares is the shareholder and he only becomes a member, but that person will become member when ultimately his name will be entered in the register of member. Okay, so usually it is same person is the shareholder, same person is the member. When I will purchase share, then my name will be entered in the register of member. But you know what, there can be some exceptional situation. Example, ma'am, example. Let's say I transferred my share to Ronak. Let's say I transferred my share to Ronak. So now I am not the shareholder. Why? Because I transferred my share to Ronak. Now I am not the shareholder. Who is the shareholder? Now Ronak is the shareholder, but I am not the shareholder. But ma'am, let's say we didn't inform the company. We didn't inform the company that I have transferred my share to Ronak. Company is unaware about this. So don't you think in the company's register of member, still my name is displaying? Yes, ma'am. Yes. So don't you think that here it is a situation of discrepancy where the shareholder is a different person and the member is a different person? Here in this situation, can I say that Ronak is shareholder but I am still the member? Why? Because member is that person whose name is entered in the register of member, whose name appears in the register of member. So there can be, that's why I'm saying there can be certain situations, there can be certain exceptional situations where member is a different person and shareholder is a different person. Okay, right. So I hope you understood this point, that what do you mean by members and shareholders. Members means that person whose name is entered in the register of member of company. I can write here of company. And shareholders means that person who is ultimately holding the shares of the company. I hope this point is crystal clear. However, there can be certain exceptional situation where member is different and the shareholder is different. Okay. Yes, great. Okay, everybody has understood this point, so we can move forward. Yes. Okay, great. So now we can move forward. The next important point is the definition of member. Usually the question is asked from this topic, or I can say question is asked from this topic. These two topics are interrelated. The next term is, what do you mean by member? You know, this term member is specifically defined in the Companies Act 2013 and the term member is defined in section 2 clause 55. As per section 2 clause 55, members means these three, 1, 2, 3, who all are considered as member. Let's say, ma'am, I have entered into agreement with the Reliance to purchase share of the Reliance. So as soon as I purchase the share of the Reliance, I will become shareholder? Yes. Will I become member? No, ma'am, not now. But after you will purchase share of the Reliance, your name will be entered in the register of member. And as soon as your name will be entered in the register of member, you will become a member. So you know what is the first situation? Who is member? The one who agrees in writing. Agrees in writing means the one who is doing agreement with the company. The one who agrees in writing to become the member. Plus, just if you do the agreement of purchasing share, you don't become member. You become member only and only when your name is entered in the register of member. So here the point is, when you agree in writing to become the member, plus when your name is entered in the register of member, then you become the member. Okay, ma'am, you know what? There is one more case. You know, subscriber to memorandum. You know, MOA, AOA. There is a full chapter on MOA and AOA in your SBEC. Memorandum of association and article of association. In memorandum of association, there is one last sixth clause, which is subscription clause. In that subscription clause, subscribers, the one who subscribe the memorandum, they agree, they promise to purchase the share of the company when company will get incorporated. Remember, when we incorporate a company, we prepare MOA, and the one who subscribes the memorandum become the member of the company when the company is finally incorporated, plus when his name is entered in the register of member. So you can become member also by subscribing the memorandum, because when you subscribe the memorandum, you promise the company that company, I will purchase your one share for this much rupees. You promise the company to purchase a share of the company, and as soon as the company gets incorporated, your name gets entered in the register of member of the register of member, and as soon as your name get entered in the register of member, you become member of the company. As easy as that. So these are the two situations where you can become member. This is the basically definition of member. You know what? There is one more definition. What is the definition, ma'am? You know, demat share. Nowadays, you purchase shares in demat form. Usually, listed companies and unlisted public companies can issue shares only in demat form. What do you mean by demat form? Demat forms means electronic form. Zerodha, one click share purchased. No physical delivery. And you know what? When you purchase the shares in demat form, you purchase it through depository. Depository is the authority through which you purchase the shares in demat form. We can say electronic form. And you know what? There are, if I talk about listed company, let's talk about Reliance. There are numbers of chindi pindi shareholders, I can say ant shareholder, cheaty shareholder, who are purchasing one share, two share, which is not even a 0.0001%. So there are numbers, there are large number of retail shareholders in the big listed company holding small amount. Yes, ma'am. So don't you think it will be very bulky for the company to maintain the list of all those shareholders in the register of member? Yes. So what company does? Company says to depository. Company asks depository, let's say this is company is maintaining register of member, and when company issues shares in demat form, it issues through a body which is known as depository, and in India there are two depositories, NSDL and CDSL. So it issues through depository, and depository issues you shares. Let's say this is you. Let's take example of some person. Let's take Manish. Okay, this is Manish. Okay, so if Manish wants to purchase the shares of Reliance Industries Limited, that shares will be purchased in demat form. Why? Because Reliance is a listed company. And when you purchase shares in demat form, company Reliance won't enter name of Manish in register of member. What Reliance will do? Reliance will ask depository, the depository, you maintain a list. You maintain a list of beneficial owner, list of beneficial, or you can say record of beneficial owner. And NSDL, CDSL, whatever depository will enter name of Manish as the beneficial owner, and in turn Reliance will enter the name of NSDL or CDSL depository as the registered owner. So you know what? When you purchase share through demat form, your name doesn't get entered in the company's ROM. Instead, company mention the name of depository, and depository maintain your name in the record of beneficial owner. So here also, don't you think you are the member of the company? Don't you think that if I have purchased, if Manish have purchased the shares of Reliance, Manish is the member of the company, and Manish should get the right of member, voting right, dividend right. If dividend is declared, Manish should get dividend. Yes. So Manish is the member now. Yes. So this point should also be added in the definition of member. Yes. And it is added. And that is what is the third point. So the third point is, if you are holding shares in electronic form and your name is not entered in the company's ROM, but your name is entered as a beneficial owner in the record of depository, sir, then also you are the member. I hope this point is crystal clear. And you know what? Because of this definition, this second topic emerges, that what are the modes of acquiring membership? How you can acquire membership in a company? What are the ways through which you can acquire membership in a company? There are basically three ways which we concluded from the definition itself. And if you're smart enough, you can tell me what are the three ways through which a membership can be acquired in a company. Sir, please tell me with the confidence, yes, I am understanding this 100% and I can name these three modes of acquiring membership with a complete understanding. Tell me, you understood? अरे बोलो. Yes. Okay, great. Manish is saying by subscribing to memorandum. Yes. Arya is saying yes. Shikha, Ankush, Mehboobi. Everybody is saying yes. Sonal, great. Pinky. Okay, great. Good, Josh. Huh? I like it. Everybody is very active. Great. Very good response. Okay, let's continue. So, what are the modes of acquiring membership, sir? Very easy. From the definition itself, you can tell. Number one, ma'am, if I want to become the member of Reliance, what all ways I have? How can I become the member of Reliance? Number one, by subscribing the memorandum. Acha, Reliance though is the existing company. Let's say I am forming a new company. Named Edu Mention Private Limited. So when I'll form that company, I'll prepare MOA, and in that MOA, I will subscribe. If I will subscribe to the memorandum, by subscribing, I mean I will sign the memorandum and I will promise that I will purchase a share of the company. By that also I can become the member. But ma'am, honestly tell me, just by subscribing I will become member? Just by subscribing? No, na. Let the company come into existence, na. Let the company enter your name in the ROM, na. Then only you will become member. So by subscribing to the memorandum and plus, when your name will be entered in the ROM, then you will become the member. This is mode number one. Mode number two, by agreement in writing. You can do agreement with the company in writing to purchase the shares of the company. And again, you know what? In this agreement, there are 4 sub points. So there are 4 sub points. We will discuss this later. First, we'll discuss the third easy point. The third point is by holding shares in which form? Madam, demat form. Please shout with me. Shout as loud as you can. Even if your mother gets irritated, then also shout. Okay. Holding shares in demat form. So when you will hold shares in demat form, what will happen? Your name will be entered as a beneficial owner in the records of depository, and then also you will be considered as member of the company. Understood? Yes, ma'am, understood very clearly. Now, what is this middle point, ma'am? What is the second point? What is this? In the second point, it is mentioned that you can do agreement in writing to purchase the shares of the company. And you know what? This agreement in writing can be of 4 types. Number one, by making application for the allotment of shares. Let's say company is coming up with an IPO. Let's say LIC is coming up with an IPO. You make application in the IPO. Has anybody ever applied for an IPO? So you make application, and when you are allotted shares, it is basically agreement now. When you're making application, you are giving offer to the company. Company, please allot me shares. And when company allot you shares, the company is accepting your offer. So offer done, acceptance done, contract done, ma'am. Indian Contract Act, CSET, remember, offer once accepted becomes a promise, it becomes an agreement. So when you make an application for allotment of shares, and when the shares is allotted to you, let's say I made application for LIC IPO and I got allotment. Wow. Highly unlikely, but I got allotment. So here this is agreement in writing. By this way I can purchase the shares of LIC, and once my name will enter in the ROM of the LIC, then I will become the what? Then I will become the member of the company, member of LIC. You can say next is by transfer. Transfer, I gave you just example, Ronak example, that I transferred my share to Ronak. I transferred my share to Ronak, and now I have to inform Reliance that Reliance. Okay, now I am not the member, I am not the shareholder. I have sold these shares to Ronak. So what you do? Please cut my name from the register of member and enter the name of Ronak. So this way also Ronak can become member. Yes, ma'am. Possible? Bilkul possible. So here in this example, I sold my shares to Ronak. And when we will inform the company that company, okay, I am no more the shareholder, now Ronak is the shareholder. What company will do? Company will cut my name and enter the name of the Ronak in the register of member. This way also Ronak can become member. Yes. This is also another mode of agreement in writing to become the member of the company. Third is, madam, transmission. And you know what? Transmission can be done in two cases. Transmission can be done in two cases. Number one, in case of death, and number two, in case of insolvency. You know what is transmission? Transmission is basically a transfer, but automatic transfer, or we can say transfer by operation of law. I am not voluntarily transferring my shares. Let's say this is Mr. A. Mr. A is holding share of Reliance, and now Mr. A died. So now Mr. A died. So all the properties of Mr. A will automatically get transferred to his legal heir. All the properties of Mr. A will automatically get transmitted to his legal representative, or I can say legal heir. So here let's say Mr. B is the son of Mr. A. So all the shares of Mr. A will be automatically transmitted to Mr. B. This is known as transmission. So Mr. B can apply to the company. Mr. B can apply to the Reliance and say, Reliance, listen. Okay, this Mr. B has died. All his shares has got transferred to me. Please enter my name in your ROM. This way also you can become a member of the company. I hope this point is crystal clear. Next is insolvency. In case of insolvency also transmission can happen. When you become insolvent means Diwaliya nikal gaya. Insolvent means you have gone bankrupt. You have no even 50 paisa in your pocket. You have got bankrupt, which means that you are not able to pay off your liability. Even after selling all your assets, you are not able to pay your liabilities. So what happens when you become insolvent? Court appoints an official receiver for you. Court appoints a person for you, and court asks that person to sell all your properties and pay back all your liabilities. That person is known as official receiver or official assignee. What, ma'am? Please repeat. I am saying that when a person becomes insolvent, let's say Mr. A has got insolvent. So when court will declare Mr. A as insolvent, court will appoint, let's say Rajnikant. Court will appoint a person, let's say he is Rajnikant, who will be known as official receiver, or you can say official assignee. Court will appoint a person to give the responsibility of selling all the remaining assets of Mr. A and paying off all the liabilities of Mr. A. So this is what happens. So in this case also, all the shares of Mr. A will automatically get transmitted to this official receiver or official assignee. So this is also the case of transmission. Last is by estoppel or acquiescence, and this is very interesting, and question can be asked from this topic. Estoppel or acquiescence, question can be asked from this topic. And you know what? Question was asked in this December paper. December paper question was asked, similar question was asked from this paper. And you know what? What do you mean by estoppel? Estoppel means court will stop you. Court will stop you from denying the fact that you are not the member. Let's say Reliance mistakenly entered my name in the register of member. I am not the shareholder of Reliance. I am not holding even a single share in the Reliance. Reliance, however, mistakenly entered my name in the register of member. And I got to know. I received notices. I received dividend. When I received dividend, I was like, balle balle, oh my god, without purchasing shares, I am receiving dividend. Let's not tell anybody that I am not the shareholder. Let's not tell anybody that I am not the member. I am enjoying. I am enjoying the benefits of the shares. Let's not tell anybody that I am not the shareholder. And you know what? Now, when you are given cake, you are enjoying. Now, if you are given Karela, then also you have to bear it, which means that if I am presuming in the public, I am pretending in the public that I am the shareholder, I am the member of the Reliance. Now, when the liability will arise, when Reliance will ask you, okay, liability of member, give your money, that time I cannot deny. Arey, why will I give my money? I am not the shareholder. I won't give any money. I am not the shareholder. So that time you cannot deny. Why? Because you pretended that you are the shareholder. Now you will be deemed to be a shareholder. Now you cannot say that I am not the shareholder. When question was coming to enjoy the benefits, you were enjoying. You were saying yes, I am the shareholder. And now when the matters comes of liability, you are saying no, I am not the shareholder. भाई साहब ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. अगर केक खाया है तो करेला भी खाओ, which means that now you will be stopped from denying the fact that you are not the shareholder and you will be deemed to be a member of the company. That is known as membership by estoppel or acquiescence. Estoppel or acquiescence. In Hindi we say this, वादा किया तो निभाना पड़ेगा. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Please tell me if all this modes of acquiring membership is clear to you or not. Can we move forward? Are you all crystal clear till now? Can we move forward? Just let me know in the chat box. Can we move forward? Yes. Great. Okay, great. All clear. Anika, Pinky, Kamal, Sonal, Nisha, everybody is clear. Okay. Next topic. Question can be asked from here also. 1 3 marks question can be asked. Who can become member? Very interesting question. Who can become member? कौन member बन सकता है? Who can become member? So number 1, any person sui juris can become member. What do you mean by sui juris? This is a Latin term. Sui juris means a person who is competent to contract. And you know, you have heard this word competent to contract in your CSET Contract Act. Competent to contract means capable of contracting. So any person who's sui juris, any person who's a legal person can become member. Now let's discuss one by one which all entities can become member. If I talk about company, can a company become member of any other company? What is this question, ma'am? Obviously yes. Obviously yes. Like Tata Sons is holding shares in Tata Motors. So Tata Sons is what company? Tata Motors is what company? So one company is holding shares of another company. So this is very obvious that yes, a company is a separate legal person. So yes, a company can become member of another company. Bilkul yes, ma'am. You know what? But it should be authorized by the MOA. And you know what? In almost every company's MOA, please listen to my word. In almost every company, in almost every company's MOA, it is permitted that yes, we can invest in the shares of any other company. So there is this permission in the MOA that we can invest in the shares of any other company. So if it is authorized by MOA, a company can invest in the shares of any other company. But you know what? There is this exception that a subsidiary cannot become member of its holding. What, madam? What? Please repeat again. Okay. Let's take a small example. This is one company and this is one bacha. Okay. Let's say this is the money. Don't you think that this holding company purchased 60%, let's say 80% shares of the subsidiary company, purchased shares and invested money? So don't you think that this money got transferred from holding to subsidiary? So now this money came with subsidiary. Holding company invested its money in the subsidiary company. And now what will happen if the subsidiary will purchase share of holding? It's like you are becoming father of your father. Okay, so what will happen if the subsidiary will purchase share of holding? This money will again be transferred back to the holding company. Subsidiary will purchase share of holding company and transfer its own money back. So don't you think there will be money laundering? There will be complete circle of transfer of funds. Yes. So that is why there is restriction that a subsidiary cannot purchase back the shares of its father, because holding is father, subsidiary is child. You cannot order your father. That's why subsidiary cannot purchase the shares of its holding. But again, there are three exceptions. There are three exceptional situations in which a subsidiary can purchase the share of holding. What are those three situations in which a subsidiary can purchase the shares of holding? Let's say subsidiary was holding some shares even before becoming subsidiary. Let's say this subsidiary company name is XYZ and holding company name is ABC Limited, and this XYZ Limited is holding shares since 2016. This subsidiary company is holding shares in ABC Limited since 2016, and later let's say in 2019. In 2019, this ABC Limited purchased 60% shares, and in 2019, holding subsidiary relation was established. So now, do we have to sell all the shares? No. If you're holding from before, you can continue to hold it. If you're holding from before, you can continue to hold it. You can continue to hold. In that case, this is the exception. Next is if you are holding shares as a legal representative or you are holding shares as a trustee. I'm giving you one example. Let's say this person is Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata had purchased the shares of ABC Limited, and now Ratan Tata made XYZ Limited a trustee that okay, for my son benefit, for my grandson, let's say my grandson is a minor, so for his benefit I'm making you a trustee. You have to hold the shares for the timing. So this XYZ Limited is holding a share of ABC Limited just as a trustee, it will be allowed. Similarly, if XYZ Limited is holding shares just as a legal representative, that will be allowed. So there are three exceptional situations where a subsidiary can become member of the holding company. Number one, if the subsidiary is member of the holding company prior to becoming subsidiary. Number two, as a trustee. Number three, as a legal representative. There are three exceptions. So this is known as exception ke andar exception. Exception of exception. It's like dream inside dream inside dream. Inception. Okay. So the point is, can a company purchase share of any other company? Can a company become member? Yes, if authorized by MOA. However, there is one exception that a subsidiary cannot become member of holding. And again, there is exception that yes, subsidiary can become member of holding in three cases. If the subsi is member of if the subsi is member of holding prior to becoming subsi, as a trustee, as a legal representative. I hope this is done. And this point is very laddu. This point is very laddu. You should not be confused in this point at all. A company cannot become member of itself. Like Reliance Industries saying, I want to purchase my own shares. Can it do so? Obviously no. Na. It's like I am saying I want to sell my pencil to myself. Okay, I am saying, Ishika, will you purchase this pencil? I am saying, okay, I will purchase this pencil. Is it possible? I am the same person. Na? How can I be buyer and seller both? It's foolishness. So company cannot become member of itself. Next point, sir, can LLP become member? Answer is very obvious, yes, because LLP is a separate legal person, it's a separate legal entity. Yes, LLP can purchase share. Number 2, partnership firm. No, sir, no. Why? Partnership firm is not a legal person. Partnership firm cannot purchase share except Section 8 company. Why? Section 8 company is a charity company, open for all. Anybody can become member. Partnership firm can become member of only Section 8 company. Next is Section 8 company. Can a Section 8 company become member? Obviously, na. Section 8 company is ultimately a company, na. So obviously, a company can become member. The answer is yes, if authorized by MOA. Next, foreigner. Justin Weaver. Can Justin Weaver purchase share of Indian company? Can Justin Weaver purchase share of my Edu Mention company? The answer is yes. But whenever money is coming from outside, it is known as FDI. Whenever money from outside is coming in Indian shares, it is known as FDI. And whenever money is coming from outside India, there is a law made which is known as FEMA. So here FEMA will be applicable. And under FEMA, you have to go through either approval route or automatic route. You have to take basically government or RBI approval. So if you are authorized as per that act, if you are authorized as per FEMA Act, if you are authorized under FEMA Act, if you are allowed by RBI, if Justin Bieber is allowed under FEMA Act to invest in Indian shares, then yes, that person can do, but it should be authorized under FEMA. There is a brief introduction of FEMA in your SBEC also, and you will study FEMA in very detail in your Group 2 EBCL. Okay. But ma'am, in case of alien enemy, voting right will be suspended. Alien enemy, I told you yesterday that if two companies into war, they are known as alien enemy. So don't you think whether Russians will be allowed to vote in the matters of Ukraine company? Obviously no, na. So in case of alien enemy, your voting rights are suspended. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. नैन्सी सिंह मैम जीडीआर और सेशन में डाउट था, ठीक है. जीडीआर जो है ना, उसके ऊपर मैं एक सेपरेट छोटा सा 5 मिनट का वीडियो बनाऊंगी. बेसिकली आई विल मेक अ सेपरेट वीडियो ऑफ 5 मिनट ऑन जीडीआर that I will upload, and secession topic is coming after this. Okay, next is minor, small kid, chota bachcha, minor. Can a minor become shareholder? Can a minor become a member? Can a minor become member? Obviously no. Now why? Because minor is not competent to contract. In order to enter into contract, you should be 18. You should be at least 18. So can a minor enter into contract? No. Na. Can a minor become member? No. But you know what? There is one exception, and the exception is minor can become member in the name of guardian. So minor cannot sign now. Okay, guardian will sign on behalf of minor. Number 2 discussion is that minor can never be held liable. No liability can arise in the part of minor. Minor can never be held liable. So that is why those shares should be fully paid up, because if 10 rupees share, it is fully paid up, which means there will be no liability. So minor can be issued share only if those shares are fully paid up, and number 2, those shares are signed by his legal guardian. So that agreement of purchasing shares should be signed by the legal guardian on behalf of the minor, and those shares should be fully paid up. Only in this case minor can become member, otherwise not possible, madam. Not possible at all. Otherwise, generally speaking, minor cannot become member. And you know what? Sometimes you transfer your share to minor. Let's say I have some shares of Reliance and that is not fully paid up. Let's say that is a 10 rupees share, only 5 rupees is paid, 5 rupees is left to be paid. And I transferred my share to Nobita. Nobita is what? Minor, chota bacha, small kid. So I transferred my share to Nobita. You know what? Now whether company will ask Nobita, bring remaining 5 rupees. No, minor can never be held liable. Minor can never ever be held liable. So that is why here, if the shares are transferred to a minor, then only transferor will remain liable for all the future calls. That means I will only be liable to pay all the future calls. Why you transferred share to minor? Your mistake. So if somebody is transferring share to a minor, the transferor only remain liable for paying all the future calls. The next is insolvent. Can an insolvent become member? The answer is yes, if he is the shareholder, if he is the member. Let's say there is this person, Mr. A. Mr. A. Mr. A is the member of the Reliance and name of Mr. A is mentioned in the ROM of the Reliance. So, let's say he become insolvent. So, his name will continue to be there in the ROM, and till his name continues in the ROM, he will be member. And but as soon as the official receiver, in that example Rajnikant, as soon as the official receiver attach his property, attach his shares, sell his shares in order to repay the liability, then his name will be removed from the ROM. And when his name will be removed from ROM, then he will cease to be a member. But until and unless his name is there in the ROM, a person goes insolvent, Mr. A. So until and unless the name of Mr. A is there on the ROM, till then he will be considered as member, and till then he will get all the voting rights. He will get all the voting rights, but he will not get any beneficial interest. By beneficial interest, what do I mean? By beneficial interest, I mean dividend, right shares, bonus shares. Why? Because that property will not be considered mine. That property will be attached by the receiver. That property will be sold off in order to repay all the liabilities. Because once I am declared insolvent, no property is mine. Everything is sold and all the liabilities is repaid. So that is why here one point is said that insolvent, yes, he continues to be member as long as his name remains in the ROM and is also entitled to vote. But he loses all the beneficial interest, that is all the rights to receive dividend, right to receive bonus share, right share, all this beneficial interest he loses, because those things, those beneficial interests are transferred to official receiver. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Receiver. Talking about receiver. Who is receiver, sir? Why? Insolvent. Mr. A declared insolvent. Now court will appoint a receiver. Court will appoint a receiver. In our example, that receiver was Rajnikant. So court will appoint a receiver. Let's say Rajnikant, to sell off the properties of the Mr. A and pay off all the liabilities. So my question is Rajnikant the owner of those shares? Is Rajnikant the actual shareholder? Is Rajnikant the member of those shares? No, na. He is just a middleman. He is just appointed by the court to administer the properties of Mr. A. He is just appointed by the court to sell off the properties and shares of Mr. A and pay off all the liabilities. So Mr. A is not the owner. Mr. A, receiver. The receiver is not the owner of the share. That's why can he become member? The answer is no, if his name is not entered in the ROM. In case he detached the property and he makes all the property in his name, then if his name is entered in ROM, then he can be considered. But if his name is not entered in the ROM, he cannot become member. Receiver cannot become member. Last point, 4 more points. Small. Pawnee. What do you mean by pawnee? What do you mean by pawnee? Pawnee सुनने में बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. Pawnee. When you take any loan and you give your shares as a security, गिरवी रखना, जब आप अपने शेयर्स को गिरवी रखते हैं, when you take any loan and you give your shares as a security, this is known as making pledge. And when you pledge your shares, जब आप अपने शेयर्स को गिरवी रखते हैं, when you pledge your shares, you become pawner and the person in whose favor you pledge your share, that person is known as pawnee. That person is known as pawnee. You are the pawner, that person is a pawnee. Is pawnee the owner? No, na. Pawnee is not the owner of the shares now. That's why, what is his title? His title is only to hold the security. He is not the owner of the shares. So that is why he cannot consider himself as the owner. He cannot become the member. The pawner only. I will only continue to be the owner of share. वो shares तो मेरे हैं ना, मैंने बस उसको गिरवी रखे हुए हैं. Those shares are mine only. I have just pledged those shares in favor of any other person. So, can a pawnee become member? The answer is no, never, not. Why? Because pawnee is not the member of the share and his title cannot exceed what is granted by law. Which means his title is not of the owner and law is not granting him the title of owner. So, his title cannot exceed what is granted by the law. Pawner only continues to be the member. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Trade union. Sir, trade union. Sir, trade union is the registered body. So there is a proper trade union act. And if your trade union is Avara trade union, not registered, then we won't consider it even as a body. But if your trade union is a registered trade union, properly registered under Trade Union Act, then yes, it is considered as a separate legal person. It can become a member of the company. HUF? No, HUF is not a separate legal entity. HUF is not does not have a separate legal entity. HUF cannot purchase shares in the name of HUF, but HUF can purchase the shares in the name of Karta, because Karta is the Karta Dharta of HUF. Wow. Because Karta is the ultimate manager of the HUF. In the name of HUF can purchase shares in the name of Karta. Now lastly, society. If I talk about society, can a society become member? Yes, because societies are registered under Societies Registration Act. And even though it is not considered as a body corporate, because remember in the definition of body corporate, societies were expressly excluded. But yes, societies will be considered as the member. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Let me know quickly in the chat box if we are crystal clear with this. Okay, quick revision. Company can become member? Yes. There are certain exceptions that subsi cannot become. LLP? Yes. Partnership firm? Okay, shout with me. Come on, shout with me. Partnership firm? No, madam, no. Section 8 company? Yes, yes, yes. Foreigner? Yes, as per FEMA. Minor? No, 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 no. One exception. That if the shares are fully paid up and in the name of legal guardian. Insolvent? Yes. Receiver? No. Pawnee? No. Trade union? Yes. HUF in the name of Karta and society? Yes. Bolo Jai Shri Ram. Shall we start the next topic? Okay, everybody is saying yes. Josh is very high. Still, even after 1 hour, you are holding Josh very high. Okay, the major topic is done now. Chindi topics are left. That what do you mean by joint member? Let's say one share is held by Arya, Sonal, and Shikha jointly. Then they will be known as joint member. Is it allowed? Yes. And you know what? When the shares are jointly held, the rights are exercised only by the first name joint holder. Let's say they can even decide whose name will be entered first. Let's say Sonal, Arya and Shikha, they all three have decided we will put first Arya name. Arya, Sonal, Shikha. All these three people are holding shares jointly. So in the register of member, let's say this is the order means sequence. Company is mentioning first Arya's name, then Sonal name, then Shikha's name. So this is the order. So the one who is named first, Arya, the one who is named first will get to enjoy all the benefits of those shares. The one who is named first will get to enjoy all the benefits of those shares. Let's say company is holding a meeting and we are issuing notices for the meeting. So is company liable to issue notice to all the 3%? No. Company will, it will be sufficient compliance if the company will issue notice only to Arya. Let's say company is paying dividend. So is company liable to pay dividend to all three, Arya, Sonal, Shikha? No. Company will pay dividend only to the first name person, which is Arya. So you know what? When in case of joint holding, only the first name joint holder exercises all the rights. But when it comes about liability, all three are liable. You know, when it comes for right, all three don't enjoy right. Right is given only to Arya. But if I talk about liability, all three will be liable. When company will ask, okay, make payment of the share, all three will be liable. So all the joint holders are jointly and severally liable to pay the calls. And you know what? There's one concept that if they want all three to exercise the voting rights, let's say, you know what? In case of joint holding, these three are purchasing one share jointly. Please listen to this example very carefully. There can be a case law question asked from this topic what I am explaining right now. Please be very careful. Okay. So here I am saying that let's say Arya, Sonal and Shikha are holding one share jointly. So what they will get? They will get one vote, one share, one vote. So who will exercise the voting right in the general meeting? The first named holder, which is Arya. So Arya will get to vote in the general meeting. Now what they want? They want that Sonal should also get right, Shikha should also get right. So what they can do, let's take example of 9 shares. Let's say they are holding 9 shares jointly. 9 shares are being held by Arya, Sonal and Shikha jointly. So now you know what they can do. They can split their holding. They can and they want to hold jointly only. So you know what they can do. They can split their holding. How they can split their holding? Let's say they split Arya, Sonal and Shikha are holding jointly 3 share. Then Sonal, Arya and Shikha are jointly holding 3 share. Then Shikha, Sonal and Arya are jointly holding 3 share. What happened? They are still the joint member, but they split their holding so that everybody can get voting right, dividend right. How? In all the three, they change the first name holder, they change the sequence, they change the order. So in this first mentioned is Arya, in this first mention is Sonal, and in this first mention is Shikha. So in this structure, they made the full use of their brain, and in this structure, don't you think that they are joint holders, but all three will get voting right, all three will get dividend right, all three will exercise all the right? Yes, this is known as full use of your mind. Great. I hope you understood this. So here one point is mentioned that joint holders, they can split their holding into several small joint holdings in different order so that all can exercise right to vote. Yes, Nancy. And if you change the sequence, then it is known as transposition. Let's say first name is Arya and second name is Sonal, and we are changing the position. Now we are shifting Sonal to the first position. So this change in position is known as transposition. This is all about joint member. There's one small concept of nominee joint member. What is the concept of nominee joint member? The concept of nominee joint member says that sometimes it happens, it happens very rare. You know what? Sometimes it happens that the shares are registered in the joint name of company and director of that company. You know what? This happens usually in case of wholly owned subsi, when you want to increase the number of membership to minimum 2. Let's say these two, company and director, are holding shares of another company which is XYZ Limited. So let's say this company is holding 100% shares. This company is holding 100% shares of XYZ Limited. So don't you think that even if it's a private company, let's say this is a private company XYZ Private Limited, there should be minimum two shareholders. We need minimum two shareholders. So what company did? Company transferred one share in the name of director. That director is not the actual owner of the XYZ Private Limited. However, it is just acting as a nominee just to fulfill the purpose of minimum number of holders. So in this exceptional situation, that this director will be known as nominee joint holder. Nominee joint holder. And this nominee joint holder, in Hindi we can say नाम का joint holder. नाम का, कोई काम का नहीं, नाम का, कोई काम का नहीं, नाम का, which means this nominee joint holder is just for the namesake. He is not a registered owner, he is not the actual owner, he cannot exercise any rights on his own. So that is why here I can say that in certain exceptional situation, when shares are registered in the name of joint name, in the joint name of company and director, then such director is known as nominee joint holder, and such nominee joint holder has no right on his own. That nominee joint holder have no right on the shares. Only this company will be having right. So this is a small company. The next small topic is the cessation of membership. Cessation of membership. Cessation of membership, which means when membership will come to end. When membership will come to end. And this is again a very laddu topic, because here we studied when membership will start. How membership will start in this topic. Now we will study how membership will come to an end. So how membership can come to an end? Number one, by transfer, and number two, by transmission. So number one, I transferred my share to Ronak. So my membership will come to end? Yes. And when my name is removed and Ronak name is put in the register of member. So I am transferring my shares, my membership will come to an end. Next is transmission. A transmission happens in two cases: death and insolvency. So when a person dies, then also his membership comes to an end. When a person is educated insolvent and official assignee disclaim his shares. When a person became insolvent and official assignee sells his shares, attach his shares for the repayment of liabilities, that time his name is removed from the register of member. So two similar cases: transfer and transmission. Transfer and transmission. Transmission are of two types: death and insolvency. So these 3 points are very similar: transfer, death, insolvency. Transfer, death, insolvency. Repeat with me: transfer, death, insolvency. Transfer, death, insolvency. In all these three cases, your membership will come to an end. Next 2 points are related to one another. Forfeiture. You know what? When you don't pay the call money, you default in paying the call money. I purchased 10 rupee Parle G and I am not paying 10 rupees. What Dukandar will do, what shopkeeper will do? He will snatch that Parle G from my hand. Pay 10 rupees or else I won't let you eat this Parle G. I am about to eat that Parle G. He snatched that from my hand. Pay 10 rupees first or else you won't get this Parle G. So if I am not paying the call money on the shares, company will forfeit shares. Company will take back the shares from me and I will no more be the member. Next is, sometimes you know what, you don't pay any money, your shares can be your shares, company can exercise lien on your shares. Let's say I have some debt, I have taken 1 crore loan from the company and I am not able to repay that loan. So company can lien my shares. Lien means company can बोलते हैं ना हड़प लेना, कंपनी अपने कब्जे में ले लेना, that you can say. So company can exercise a lien, which means company can keep my shares. Pay your loan, repay your loan, or else I will sell your shares. Repay your loan or else I will sell your shares. So if the company has sold my shares to enforce the lien, in that case also my membership will come to an end. Lastly, in case of preference shares, they can be redeemed. This topic we'll study in tomorrow's lecture. Next is buyback. In case of equity shares, it can be bought back. This concept also we'll study in very detail in section 68 in the next lecture. Lastly, in case of winding up, when the company closes, automatically all the membership comes to an end. So these are the 8 situations in which membership comes to an end. Please repeat after me. Very easy, divided into 3 categories. These 3 are similar: transfer and transmission, which is transfer, death, insolvency. Okay, transfer, death, insolvency. Next is forfeiture, sold to enforce lien, forfeiture and lien, forfeiture and lien. And next is, if it is preference shares, it will be redeemed. If it is preference shares, it will be redeemed. If it is equity share, it will be bought back. And lastly, in case of winding up. Very easy. Next topic. Expulsion of a member. Expulsion of member. Can a director says, मुझे तुम्हारा चेहरा पसंद नहीं आया, आथू, ऐसा बोल सकते हैं? Can a director say, I don't like you, I will remove your name from the register of member? No, he cannot. He cannot. Let's say there is a fight between Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry. Have you heard this landmark case, Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry? If not, very bad. I always give this example in my regular class. Ratan Tata, Cyrus Mistry. Let's say there is a fight between Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry. Can we do so that in the article, that means in the AOA of the company, can we write, we don't like Cyrus Mistry, we don't like face of Cyrus Mistry, Cyrus Mistry is creating nuisance in the company, we will expel Cyrus Mistry from membership of company. बताओ, बोलो. Yes, everybody is correct. We can't do this. We can't expel a member in any circumstances. Any means any. चाहे भगवान धरती पे आ जाए, even if God comes to earth, then also you cannot do this. Then also you cannot do this. You cannot expel a member. You cannot enter a provision in the article to expel a member. If a person has purchased shares of the company, he has right of the member. He will be considered as a member. Okay. So, can we put a expulsion clause in the article? No, ma'am, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. Very clear. Why? Because it is illegal and void. It is against Companies Act, and that is why this act will be known as ultra virus. Why? Because it is against Companies Act, and in section 3 it is mentioned that act is superior to MOA and AOA. In case there is a fight between MOA, AOA and act, who will win? Act will win. Act means Companies Act. Companies Act is superior to MOA and AOA. Companies Act is superior to MOA and AOA. That is why in AOA you cannot insert an article to expel a member. Why? Because it is against the Companies Act. And also it is against the fundamental principle. It is against the principle of natural justice. That is why you cannot put a provision of expulsion of member in the article. Last topic, right of member. This don't even need an explanation what all rights a member get. Voting right, demand poll, appoint proxy, transfer shares, receive dividend, attend meeting. All this concept will be covered anyhow in all the respective chapter. With this, we are done with our chapter number 3 in a very good manner. There is one small topic, GDR. For GDR, I will make a short 5-minute video because that needs a bit explanation. For this, I will make a short 5-minute video and I will upload it in the channel. I will provide you all the link. From there, you can access that. Okay. Starting with chapter number 2. Are we ready to start? Are we ready to start chapter number 2? Acha, before starting chapter number 2, please tell me whether you understood this chapter 3, members and shareholders, properly. Please tell me. If the whole chapter is clear to you all, and if the whole chapter is understood, if the whole chapter is clear, I have one request. Please refer the whole chapter just once. It will hardly take 15-20 minutes or maximum half an hour. Please refer the whole chapter once on your own before tomorrow's lecture. And trust me, it's my promise that all the concepts will get inside your head. You will, remember all the examples. when you will, this topic will come to you. So one request, please refer once all the topic, even in a brief way, but please refer all the topic once before tomorrow's class. Then your 90% work is done. Okay, everybody is saying understood, 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 clear, clear, clear. Great. Lot of people are still here with patience. Great. Good energy, huh? I like it. I like it. अरे नॉलेज बूस्टर भाई रख लेंगे आंसर राइटिंग 6 वीडियोस हैं यूट्यूब में आंसर राइटिंग के बहुत अच्छे वीडियोस है गो वॉच देम देयर आर 6 वीडियोस ऑफ आंसर राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस ऑफ कंपनी लॉ वॉच देम रिमेनिंग वीडियोस विल आल्सो कम सून ठीक है हम करा देंगे आप चिंता नहीं करिए वी विल डू इट वी विल डू आंसर राइटिंग एज वेल देयर आर 6 वीडियोस इन यूट्यूब चलो फिर बोलो जय श्री राम और स्टार्ट करते हैं हम नेक्स्ट टॉपिक ठीक है चलो नॉलेज बूस्टर सिंह कंपनी लॉ आप पे डिपेंड है बिल्कुल रखो कंपनी लॉ मेरे पे डिपेंड लेकिन जैसा मैं बोलूंगी वैसा आपको करना पड़ेगा यू हैव टू रिवाइज ऑन योर ओन बिकॉज सेल्फ रिविजन के कुछ नहीं होगा इफ यू आर डिपेंडिंग एवरीथिंग ऑन टीचर टीचर का रोल 40% होता है 60% सेल्फ स्टडी होती है 60% सेल्फ स्टडी होती है सो आई विल टेल यू ऐसा पढ़ो वैसा पढ़ो रिवाइज दिस सो दैट यू हैव टू फॉलो ये नहीं कि जब खुद की रिविजन करने की बारी आएगी तब पीछे इफ यू फॉलो ऑल द इंस्ट्रक्शंस देन डेफिनेटली you will after the end of this revision series you will be like yes this time was worth it it's my promise that after this revision series you will feel like we have achieved something we have gained some company law knowledge and my group 1 is secured my group 1 will be secured हाँ ग्रेट अपने साइड से भी मेहनत करो मेरी साइड से तो 100% सपोर्ट है ही ग्रेट ओके okay so let's start our chapter number 2 can we hold the class till 9 1.5 घंटे में क्या ही रिवीजन कर पाएंगे यार मेरे को लगता है कम से कम 2 घंटे का तो रिवीजन होना चाहिए can we extend the class till 8:45 or 9 1.5 घंटे में क्या आपका एग्जाम 3 आवर्स का होता है योर एग्जाम इज ऑफ 3 आवर्स यू कैन नॉट से टू एग्जामिनर आई एम टायर्ड I will write only 1.5 hours paper and the remaining 1.5 hours paper I will give tomorrow. I am very tired. Please take my half paper tomorrow. That is not possible now. That is not possible now. Your exam is of 3 hours. So you should prepare yourself of holding 3 hours class at least. Don't worry. I won't take 3 hours class. It will be like 10. Maybe saying you can take till 10. No. My mother will come and slap me. अर्जुन को सीरियल देखने जाना है इधर आओ अर्जुन एक मारूंगी कान के नीचे चलो ओके विद दिस ग्रेट एंथुसियाज्म लेट्स स्टार्ट अभी चैटिंग बंद करो नाउ पूरे कंसंट्रेशन के साथ कम बैक नाउ लेट्स start back and bounce back to start our chapter number 2 and I already inform you that bro we are done with chapter number 1 and chapter number 3 chapter number 3 was a good chapter now we'll do chapter number 2 and don't panic because this chapter might take a bit longer this chapter is one of the lengthiest chapter of the whole part A so don't consider this as a one chapter what I say consider this as a 5 chapter because this is divided into 5 parts so we'll study this part wise. Okay, so we'll divide this big chapter into 4 to 5 smaller pieces, and then we will study so that it will not look very bulky. Okay, great. So the chapter 2 name is share and share capital, and the part A is meaning and type of share capital. This is very laddu. The first thing that comes is what is the definition of share. The term share is defined in section 2 clause 84. And according to section 2 clause 84, share means share in the share capital of the company and includes stock. What, ma'am? This much easy definition. Share means share in the share capital of the company, which means company की ownership में हिस्सेदारी. Your share, हिस्सा, your share in the capital of the company. Capital means ownership. Your share in the ownership of the company. So that is why it says that if you are the shareholder, you are the owner of the company, and it also includes stock. Stock is nothing but a bundle of shares. Classification of share capital. Number 1. This is not relevant for exam purpose, but I am explaining it in a very brief manner. Nominal authorized registered capital. It is nothing but the maximum capital which a company can raise, and this capital is basically mentioned in the MOA, Memorandum of Association. That is why it is known as registered capital, because it is registered with the government. That's it. And when how much shares you actually issue to the public, how much share you actually offer to the public, that is known as issued capital. Let's say my registered capital is 100 crore and I am offering public only 80 crores. I am selling only 80 crore shares. That is known as issued capital. Subscribed means that part of issued capital which is actually purchased by the company, which is actually subscribed by the, not company, sorry, public. Subscribed capital is that part of issued capital which is actually purchased by the public, which is actually subscribed by the public. So let's say public subscribed all the 80 crore shares, so the subscribed capital will also be 80 crores. Now, sometimes you call whole money at one go, sometimes you call money part wise. Let's say you are calling two times 5 crore, one share is of 10 rupees. You are calling money in part, which means first you are calling 5 crore and then again in future you will call 5 crore. Sorry, not 5 crore, 5 rupees and 5 rupees. So let's say one share is of 10 rupees and first you are calling 5 and later you will call 5. So this is known as called up, means the money which you have actually called. So let's say for now you have called just 5 rupees, which means just half. So for now you have called 40 crores rupees. So now that is your called up capital. The money which you are actually asking members to pay. Oi, come here, pay this much. Oi, come, pay 40 crore. So you are asking only 40 crore now. Remaining 40 crore you will ask later. So that is called up. Paid up means which is actually paid by the public. There are some defaulter people who don't pay money. There are some defaulter people. So let's say 10 public defaulted in paying 10 crore. I received only 30 crore. So this will be paid up capital. And you know what is relevant for your companies? The most relevant capital is this paid up capital, because everything depends on your paid up capital, that how much actually public have paid you. How much money you have already received from the public, that is your paid up capital. How much money you have actually received from your shareholders, that is paid up capital, and this is relevant for your company. This paid up capital is the most relevant for the company. Okay, coming to the next part, what is the nature of shares? So you know what, shares is nothing. If I talk about physical shares, it's just a piece of paper. And if I talk about demat share, what is demat share? Can you see it? No. So if I talk about shares, what is shares? It's nothing but it is a bundle of rights and liabilities, because when you purchase shares, you are liable to prepay the money and you get various rights, dividend right, voting right. And you know what, as per Sales of Goods Act, shares are considered as goods. And by purchasing shares, it gives you right to participate in the profit, which means right to receive dividend, which is very easy. Shares are considered as tangible property as well as a movable property. Movable means it can be sold from one person to another. Very easy. This was a very easy topic. Don't need any explanation and not very relevant from the examination point of view. Next topic, type of share capital, which is given in section 43. So these are very easy topic, not very bulky topics, so you can take it very lightly. Types of share capital, as you all know, there is equity share, preference share. What do you mean by equity share? You know what? Equity shareholders are the real owners of the company. Equity shareholders are the real owners of the company. And what is preference shares? Preference shareholders are those shares who get preference in the payment of dividend and in the repayment of capital at the time of winding up. It's like equity shares are the sage owners and preference shareholders are the सौतेले owners. बस ऐसा समझ लो. The real owners are equity shareholders. The preference shareholders are not the real owners. Why? Because we are not giving them, voting rights. The voting right is given to the real owner. Voting right is given only to the equity shareholders. Preference shareholders, उनको हम पहले से डिविडेंड देके नक्की कर दे रहे हैं, ये लो आपका डिविडेंड, ये लो आपका कैपिटल, जाओ यहाँ से. आपको वोटिंग राइट में वोटिंग राइट नहीं मिलेगा. प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स डोंट गेट वोटिंग राइट. प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स डोंट गेट वोटिंग राइट्स. So that is why there are two type of shareholders, equity shareholders and preference shareholders. Preference shareholders get preference in the payment of dividend when the company is going concern, and in case of winding up they get preference in the repayment of capital. However, if I talk about equity shareholder are those shareholders who are not preference shareholder but they get voting rights. If I talk about equity shares, further equity shares are two types. Number one, equity shares with equal voting rights, and number two, equity share with differential right. This is very important. This concept, this is known as DVR. DVR, shares with differential right. DVR. So equity shares can be of equal voting right or equity shares can be of differential right as to dividend voting or otherwise. Which means that, what do I mean? Let's say I am issuing one share and every share there is the same voting right. Everybody is getting one vote. One share, one vote. Everybody has same dividend rights. Everybody has same voting rights. Which means I am not doing any discrimination. Everybody is getting same right. For one share, everybody will get one vote. No matter that person is Narendra Modi or any other person. So that is known as equal right. But this concept is in very limelight because lots of companies are issuing DVR. Lots and lots of reputed companies are issuing DVR. DVR means, let's say you want to give, let's say the Reliance want to give Mukesh Ambani right of 2 vote on one share, or let's say 10 vote. Other people are getting one share, one vote. For other people we are issuing normal share, one vote. For Mukesh Ambani, we want to issue, Reliance want to issue a differential share, a DVR shares to Mukesh Ambani, and we want to give 10 vote on one share to Mukesh Ambani. Can we do so? Yes, we can do so. That concept is known as DVR. Differential shares with differential right, or we can say shares with differential voting right or shares with differential dividend right. So where this means that you can issue shares which is having a different right. It's like I am giving 5 hours class to Mr. A and 10 hours class to Mr. B. So it's like I'm differentiating now. I'm differentiating, which I don't do with my students. But yes, this is just an example. So similarly, for you, I'm giving one share, but you will get one vote. For Mukesh Ambani, I'm saying you will get one share, but you will get 10 votes on one share. So this is known as DVR, where you issue shares with differential right, and this differential right can be with respect to dividend or voting or any other similar matter. If I talk about preference shares, there are several types of preference shares. If I talk about preference shares, then there are several types of preference shares, like on the basis of dividend. There is cumulative and non-cumulative. In cumulative preference shares, you even if the company incurs loss, then your dividend will get accumulated. Your dividend इकट्ठा होते जाएगा. It will get accumulated and you will be paid later on. This is cumulative. Non-cumulative means in case company incurs loss in any of the year, then you will lose dividend of that year and you won't get any dividend for that year. Participating, non-participating, there are certain kind of preference shares who can also participate in the last surplus profit. You know what, this surplus profit is for the equity shareholder, but however there are certain kind of preference shareholders who can participate even in the surplus profit. So that is why it can be either participating or non-participating. Convertibility, if there are certain preference shares which can be converted into equity share, so if it can be converted into equity share, it is convertible. If it cannot be converted into equity share, it is non-convertible. Redeemable, if that preference share can be redeemed, then it is redeemable. If not redeemed, then it is non-redeemable. Usually a company cannot issue non-redeemable shares. Not very important, very basic concepts these are, which you are studying since class 11th 12th business studies. Okay, so that is why I'm not going in very detail in this concept, because not very important. Take it lightly, just understand the basic about this topic. Okay, again this basic topic, this I'm giving you homework. Difference between equity and preference, this I'm giving you homework. Please read it. It's very easy. It's trust me, it's very laddu. You will understand it very quickly once you'll go through it. Okay, if there is any doubt, please let me know. I'll surely cater your doubt, but it's your homework. Read the difference between equity and preference shares. We are done with the part A of chapter number 2. That much, ma'am? Yes, that much. Part A is that much only. There is no much things in the part A. Part A of chapter 2. Yes, Forza, for you also it is applicable. आप दिसंबर में दे रहे हो, आप भी देख लो, because concept तो same है ना. और and this revision lectures, this everything is amended. So आप ये lecture देख लो. अगर आपके दिसंबर attempt के लिए और कोई amendment होगा तो we will hold a separate amendment class for the December attempt. So yes, this lecture is for both June attempt as well as December attempt. June 2022, December 2022, for both this lecture is relevant. Okay, so Forza you can also watch it. Okay, it is not enough for the day. One small topic we will do. One small topic. One small topic we will do. Part B will start. We will continue it in the tomorrow's lecture also, but we'll start it today. We'll start it today. We are done with the one part of our chapter 2. Let's start the part B of our chapter 2, which deals with issue and allotment. Okay. So now, please be very focused, because I am going to explain you a very important topic. Very important concept I am going to explain you. Now, come back here and be very focused. In this part, basically in this chapter, we will study about prospectus and allotment of securities. First, we will understand what do you mean by prospectus. This chapter starts with section 23. Section 23 talks about if you want to access public money, if you want to issue shares. Section 23 says if a company want to issue shares, okay, coming again, if a company want to issue shares, what are the modes through which we can issue shares? What are the modes available for issuing shares? So section 23 tells us different modes, different routes through which we can issue shares to the public. So section 23 tells you what are the different modes of issuing securities, issuing shares or issuing securities. So first let's talk about public company. If I talk about public company, sir, can a public company invite public? Come subscribe my share, come subscribe my share, come purchase my share, come purchase my debenture. Can a public company make a public offer? The answer is yes. Why? Because there is no restriction in public company. Public company can make public offer. So the first mode is we can make public offer. Public offer means general offer to whole public. Whosoever want to subscribe my share, come subscribe my share. So this is a mode of issuing shares. And you know what? Public offer can be of three types. Number one, IPO, initial public offer. When you make a public offer for the first time, it is IPO, and for the second, third, fourth, all the subsequent time, it is known as FPO. Basically, it is further public offer. And you know what? There is one more concept of offer for sale. What is offer for sale? Offer for sale means when existing shares are sold. Let's say here the Mukesh Ambani wants to sell his holding in Reliance. Mukesh Ambani is holding, let's say, 70% shares of Reliance, and Mukesh Ambani wants to sell his holding to the general public. So, can he make a public offer? Yes. And this public offer will be known as offer for sale. You know, when existing securities are sold to the public, existing securities of the existing shareholders or the promoters are sold to the public, this is known as offer for sale. Please understand, here we are not issuing any new securities. Here we are issuing the existing securities which is held by the existing shareholder. Mukesh Ambani is the existing shareholder. So we are just taking shares from the Mukesh Ambani and selling it to the public. This is known as offer for sale. So this public offer can be of two types. And whenever you make public offer, you issue a document. And what is that document known as, sir? That document is known as prospectus. Very easy? Yes, ma'am, very easy. So, what public company can do? Public company can make public offer, public invitation that whosoever want, come subscribe my share. So, public company can make public offer by issuing a document which is known as prospectus. Then, ma'am. But, ma'am, is the public offer only option for a public company? Can we do private placement? Yes. What do you mean by private placement? Let's say now Reliance don't want to invite public. Reliance want to allot shares only to Modi. Khas friend, very close friend, Ambani and Modi. Okay, so let's say the Reliance want to issue shares only to Modi. Reliance want to issue shares only to Modi. So for this, will we make public announcement? No, na. We will only privately allot shares to Modi, na. So this is known as private placement, where you privately allot shares, where you privately issue shares to a selected group of person without making public offer. That is known as private placement. So can Reliance make a private placement? The answer is yes. So a public company can also make a private placement. This we will discuss in section 42. And whenever you make a private placement, you issue a document. That document is known as private placement offer letter. In short, I say it PPOL. That means, let's say the Reliance is issuing shares to Modi ji, so we will issue him a document, and that document is known as PPOL, private placement offer letter. Reliance is giving offer to Modi, please purchase my share. So that is a private placement offer letter. Private placement offer letter. Very easy. Next is, ma'am, when we want to issue shares only to the existing shareholder. When we want to issue shares only to the existing shareholder, there are two options. Number one, right issue. Number two, bonus issue. Right issue, where we give only existing shareholder right to purchase share, and bonus issue is basically giving shares for free. Just like I am giving you free lectures and free notes. I'm very good, na? Okay, so this public company has three options, that there are three modes. Public company has three modes to issue shares. Number one, public offer. Number two, private placement. Number three, right issue and bonus issue. Again, public company can issue shares by three mode: public offer, private placement, right issue and bonus issue. Very easy. Yes ma'am, very easy. Now you know what, if I talk about private company, can a private company can make public offer? Can a private company invite public that come purchase my share? Can a private company make a public invitation that whosoever want, come purchase my security, come purchase my share, come purchase my debenture? Can a private company make a public invitation? No, no, obviously no. So you know what, this first option is not available for a private company. So private company is left with only these two options. So private company can make either private placement, or it can make right issue or bonus issue. As easy as that. Because private company cannot make public offer na. Why madam? Why? Because it is restricted in the article. In the article of the private company there is 3 restriction. In that 3 restriction, one restriction was prohibition on making public invitation. Prohibition on making public invitation. I hope this point is crystal clear, that a private company cannot make public offer. So that is why private company can make private placement, or it can either make right issue or bonus issue. Very easy. And again, you know, what do you mean by prospectus? You know what is prospectus? Yes. Let's say Zomato is coming up with an IPO. So Zomato is selling its shares. It has to inform the people na, that in what price it is selling, how much shares it is offering, and Zomato has to inform about the company also na, that how the company is performing, what are the past profits of the company, the balance sheet of the company, the data of the company, the profitability of the company, various ratios of the company. So the company has to inform about it, about the product, about the shares. So how do we inform the public about the issue, about the shares, about the share price? Through a document, and that document is known as prospectus. So whenever we make public offer, we issue a document, and that document is known as prospectus. Prospectus is defined in section 2 clause 20, and the definition is very easy. Prospectus means any document which is described or issued as a prospectus. Prospectus means any document which is described or issued as prospectus, and include a red herring prospectus, shelf prospectus, or any notice, any circular, any advertisement, any document inviting offer from public for subscription or purchase of any securities of the body corporate. So the definition says, like, there are two definitions. One is means and other is includes. Means definition says that if you're describing any document as a prospectus, like there is one document, you named it as a prospectus, then it is prospectus. Yes, very easy. This means definition is very easy. Now this includes definition is saying any document through which you are inviting public, any document through which you are inviting public, come subscribe my security, come purchase my share. Like in station na, people be like, aloo le lo, kanda le lo, ye matar le lo. It's like they are inviting public na, come purchase my aloo, come purchase kanda. So it's like when the company is inviting public to subscribe the securities through any document, that document will be deemed to be a prospectus. So any document through which company is inviting public, come subscribe my security, come subscribe my share, come subscribe my debenture, all such document will be deemed to be a prospectus. So prospectus includes red herring prospectus, shelf prospectus, or any other notice, advertisement, or any other document through which you are inviting public to subscribe your securities. Yes, correct. Yes, it is both exhaustive and inclusive, because it is means as well as includes. Two definitions are there. I hope this definition of prospectus is very crystal clear to all of you. Very easy topic, not very important. Just have a quick overview through it. Section 26 talks about matters to be stated in prospectus. There should be a date in the prospectus. It should be signed by all the directors. each director and proposed director. If there is any proposed director, which means that future director, then every director, every proposed director should sign the prospectus, and in place of director, his attorney can also sign or his agent can also sign. Next is what information we have to include in the prospectus. Basically, in the prospectus, we have to include all the financial information because it is related to selling of shares now. So we have to include all the relevant financial information relating to share price, profits of the company, and data, all the financial data. So prospectus should include such information, reports of financial information as may be specified by SEBI, which means that MCA has said that since the SEBI is the expert of security market, and since you are making public offer, you will get listed, so SEBI will tell what documents is needed to be included in prospectus. So you have to include those financial information which are specified by SEBI. Next is you can also include an expert statement, but that expert should be independent. He should not be biased, which means he should not be interested in the company. That expert should be independent. Then only he will be able to give honest opinion. Otherwise, he will be biased. So you can also include expert statement. You should include a statement in the prospectus that the prospectus is filed to ROC. You should file it with the ROC, and you should include that statement confirmation in the prospectus that yes, it is filed to the ROC, any other voluntary statement. And lastly, you have to file the prospectus to the ROC. I already told you, whatever happens in the company, you have to inform to the ROC, like ROC, I am making public offer, I am getting listed, I am issuing prospectus. So before issuing prospectus to the public, you have to file that prospectus to the ROC. Before issuing prospectus to the public, you have to file that prospectus to the ROC, and you know what, after that you have to issue the prospectus to the public within 90 days of submitting to the ROC. What you do, let's say you prepared a prospectus, this is your prospectus, it is ready. Now you have to submit this prospectus to ROC, and once you submit this prospectus to ROC, then within 90 days, that means approx 3 months, within 90 days you have to issue this to the public. Issue this to the public. Okay. So before issuing to the public, you have to submit this document to the ROC, and after submitting this prospectus to the ROC, within 90 days you have to issue this to the public. Along with this, you have to attach 3 documents, basically that expert consent, various consent from different auditors, brokers, stock brokers, legal advisors, etc., and underwriting agreement. What is underwriting agreement? I will come to this in the tomorrow lectures. Okay. Very basic point. See what we studied till now. We studied that a public company can make public offer as well as private placement as well as right issue, bonus issue. However, private company cannot make public offer, it can make only private placement, right issue, bonus issue. After that, we studied what is prospectus. Prospectus means any document which is described as prospectus, or any document through which you are inviting public to subscribe the securities. After that, it should be dated, it should be signed by all the directors, and you should include such financial information as may be specified by SEBI, and you should file it to the ROC, and within 90 days you should issue it to the public. That's it. That's only relevant. Other things you can ignore. Next is abridged prospectus, last topic of the day. After this, we'll end our today's class. Great. Last topic. Promise last topic. Okay. So the last topic of the day is abridged prospectus. And what do you mean by abridged prospectus? Sometimes you know what, the prospectus is very bulky. Sometimes the prospectus is a 500-600 pager document. Who will read that, bro? Who will read that? So don't you think you have to prepare a summary? Yes, that summary of the whole prospectus is known as abridged prospectus. Abridged prospectus is nothing but a chota bhai, or you can say a summary. It's just a summary of the whole chapter. Let's say there is a 20-page chapter and we made a summary in 5 pages. So that summary is known as abridged prospectus. There are 500-pager prospectus. You have prepared a 5-pager summary. That summary is known as abridged prospectus. Abridged prospectus means a summary of the prospectus. उसमें बस कुछ detailed information होते हैं, बस important information होता है. The abridged prospectus contains only some important information. Abridged prospectus contains only some important information. Okay, so that is why it is known as memorandum. Because why memorandum? Because it is not full prospectus, it is just containing the summary. So average prospectus means a memorandum containing the salient features. Salient features means important features. Average prospectus is just a memorandum which is containing the salient features of the prospectus. And who will prescribe what points have to be mentioned in the average prospectus? SEBI will prescribe. So salient features, what salient features need to be included in average prospectus? SEBI will specify. So those salient features as may be specified by SEBI. So average prospectus means memorandum containing the salient features of the prospectus as may be specified by SEBI. Okay, please shout with me. Average prospectus means a memorandum containing salient features of the prospectus as may be specified by SEBI. Again, average prospectus means a memorandum containing salient features of the prospectus as may be specified by SEBI. बैठ गया दिमाग में? Okay. And you know what? Whenever you issue application form means you issue application form to public na, that okay, if you want to apply for the shares, fill this application form and submit back. So every application form which you issue, every application form which a company issue, along with that application form we have to attach average prospectus. It's just like समझ लो pamphlet. Whenever you give application form, उसके साथ एक average prospectus भी दे दो. Whenever you give an application form, you have to give average prospectus along with it. So every application form should be accompanied by average prospectus. They are like अंबर धरा, अलग नहीं कर सकते आप, दोनों साथ साथ जाएंगे. Application form और average prospectus. You have to attach the average prospectus along with the application form. But there are 3 exceptions in which the average prospectus need not be attached. What are those 3 situations? You know what? This situation is very common. You can say this without even looking. You know what? Prospectus basically tells about the company, tells about the issue, tells about the shares of the company. But there are certain people who already know everything about the company, like existing shareholder. So don't you think when I'm issuing shares to existing shareholder, I don't need to give them prospectus. They are my existing shareholder. They know everything about the company. So that's why there are certain exceptions that in case of right issue, you don't need to give them average prospectus. You don't need to give them prospectus. Next is when the shares are not offered to public. Example, you can say private placement. Obviously now when you are not offering shares to the public, for example, you are making private placement, you are privately allotting shares to Modi, that time you issue another document which is private placement offer letter. You don't issue prospectus. Prospectus is issued only in case of public offer. Prospectus is not issued in case of private placement. So that is why when the securities are not offered to public, example private placement, you don't need to issue prospectus. Right issue, you are giving to existing shareholders. They already know about the company. So you don't need to give them an average prospectus. Next is issue to underwriters. Who are underwriters? Basically, I will explain this in the minimum subscription topic. Underwriters are also the people who promise to the company to purchase the shares of the company. So they know everything about the company. There is a proper agreement. So that is why when you issue shares to underwriter, you don't need to give them abridged prospectus. Who are underwriters? Again, I will discuss in the tomorrow's topic. So this is a small concept of the abridged prospectus. However, if there is some shareholder who is very jiddi, who is very ideal, who is very jiddi, like some people. Okay, so let's say if there is any person who's saying, I don't want full prospectus, I want 500 pages full prospectus, I will read whole 600 pages, so give them. So it's just like if any person requests the full prospectus, then we will give them the full prospectus. So This is a small concept about the abridged prospectus. Quick revision. What is abridged prospectus? Abridged means summary, short. Because normal prospectus is 500, 600 pager. It's not possible to issue whole 600 pages to every public. No. Company will go kangal. So, we prepare a summary which is known as memorandum. So, abridged prospectus is a memorandum containing only the salient features of the prospectus which are specified by SEBI, and you have to attach abridged prospectus with all the application form. Don't need to attach in 3 cases: underwriter, right issue, private placement, when the shares are not offered to public. Lastly, if any shareholder demand full prospectus, give him, then company will furnish him the full prospectus. That's it. That's it for the today. That's it for today. We are done with the abridged prospectus topic. And you know what? If you study from this notes, you know what? Almost all the important concept for your examination point of view are included in this notes. So for concept you don't need to look at anywhere else. For concept you can revise from here only. But yes, for language you have to read the book once for understanding the language, because it's not, your paper is not MCQ, your paper is subjective. It's not like CSET जमा तादी tick. So अगर आपका पेपर MCQ होता, I would have said कि book तो पढ़ो ही मत, सिर्फ notes देख लो. But since your paper is not MCQ, your paper is subjective, you have to write the answers and your language should also be proper. So this charts and all are for understanding. You cannot make this chart in your copy. In your exam copy, in your exam answer sheet, your answer should be drafted in a right way. Your language should be good. So for that language, you have to read from the main book as well. You have to read from your main textbook as well. But yes, for revising the concept, these notes are enough. For revising the concepts, I am repeating again, for revising the concept, these notes are enough. But for seeing the language, you have to read the book as well once, which you do normally in the first and second reading. But yes, you know what, these notes will be everything for you one day before exam, because one day before exam you cannot read your 600 or 1000 pager book. Your ICSI study material is 1000 pages. It's not possible to read whole 1000 pages one day before the exam. Basically you get half day. After coming from exam you get tired, you take rest. So in half day, one day you cannot cover. So that time this notes will be like Bhagwan for you. So obviously उस time आप सिर्फ इस note से पढ़े, but अभी के लिए for having a better language, for having a hold over language, read the book as well. For the language concepts, everything is covered in the notes. Okay, so in case of anybody have doubt till here, फ्यूचर टॉपिक मत पूछना मेरे से. क्यों? क्योंकि जो टॉपिक कल कवर करेंगे, लाइक सेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस विल कवर टुमारो, डीम्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस विल कवर टुमारो, रेड हियरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस विल कवर टुमारो, ऑल दिस टॉपिक विल कवर टुमारो. So don't ask me, ma'am, what is self prospectus? Arey, we have not covered it yet. Now we will cover it tomorrow. So if you have any doubt till here means till the topic which we have studied, you can definitely post it in the Telegram doubts group that is made. If anybody has any doubt in any question in any topic of the company law, you can post it in the doubts group. Okay, so we are ending our today's revision here. I hope this is helpful for you. Please please give me a big fat thumbs up in the chat box if you feel that yes, we understood something new, we got something new, and it's beneficial for you. Okay, great. Okay, thank you everybody for so much love. Okay, so with this we are ending our today's class. I'm telling you tomorrow's topic. Tomorrow we will continue with this prospectus, self prospectus, deemed prospectus, red herring prospectus, and after that, after this prospectus thing, we will start private placement. Basically, yes, private placement, and after this private placement, we will do issue of shares. Basically we'll start with preference shares, DVR, premium, discount, right issue, bonus issue, all this concept will start, which are very important. So please don't miss tomorrow's revision at all. Tomorrow's revision is gonna be very important. We will be covering various important topics. All these notes are regarding notes. I will upload notes every day for the topic which we'll study every day. Now every day I'll keep on uploading notes on the app. So the topic which we'll cover, your notes will get updated in the app. So don't worry, you will get notes for all the chapter with the respective revision class. So this today's notes has already been uploaded in the app. This notes coming tomorrow's notes also I will upload today in the app. So you will get access to all the notes in the app. Okay. With this, we are ending our today's class. In case of any doubt, please do let me know over Telegram or Instagram or WhatsApp. I will surely try to clear your doubts. Okay. With this, we are ending our today's class. Till then, keep learning, because the more you learn, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more you achieve. Take care. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Bye. 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 Bye.